my name is Leilani, and in this video, I'm gonna share with you my read alouds for the upcoming homeschool year. Now, I have 4 kids, so I am including a range of books from chapter books all the way down to picture books. I'm kind of excited because I found some really cool new picture books that bring about some awareness for special needs. Kind of excited. But first, I want to let you know that this is a collaboration with Megan over at Pennies and Salt. Megan is a really good friend of mine. She's amazing. Her channel has everything from gardening, to homeschool, homemaking. She has this amazing wealth of information and knowledge. If you get to know her on a personal basis, you will see that she is like, she's Google. You don't need Google. Just subscribe to her channel and you'll have Google because she's really awesome. But I love Megan. So check her out. That's why I'm super excited to be doing this collaboration with her, as well as a bunch of other friends of mine that are down in a playlist in the description box below. I'm not gonna waste time. I'm gonna get right into this though, because you haven't heard of this book. It's called The Simple Art, maybe you have, but it's called The Simple Art of Flying, and it is by Corey Leonardo. I'm kind of excited about this because it's very, very similar to the one and only Ivan, in the sense that it is an animal speaking in the book. You have the animal speaking, the 12-year-old boy speaking, as well as an elderly lady. And it's a story about friendship, about companionship, and sacrifice. I don't know much more except that, but I do know that it was inspired by a postcard from Florida. So I'm excited to read that with my kids because anything that has to do with Florida, I really like reading about, because that's where we live. We live in Florida, and I'm proud of my state. It's beautiful here. It's really, I can't handle snow. And speaking of Florida, I said I was gonna read this book this summer, but I did not. And this was a book, I actually believe Megan gave me the idea to read this book. And it's Strawberry Girl, and it takes place in Florida, near Cracker Country. Okay, I said Cracker Country, it's not a racist thing. Not a racist thing. It's actually a location that you can go to, and it has like little old time houses, expos, field trips, school kids go there. Cracker is in reference to the whip that they cracked when it came to herding cattle. That's where the term comes from. It's not a racist thing. It has, and it does talk a lot about that in here, so it just brings it home, and I heard it's really, really fun to read. So yeah, it's on my list. Get it read. Come on, Leilani. I gotta read this one. Now here's another one that you may not have heard of. It is called The Secret Heir. I did a video on this one as well because it was actually written by a class at our homeschool co-op. They've done it a few times. They have editors, they go through the whole process. It's just a beautiful thing. I have a video in the iCards about it, as well as description box below. But we have not yet read this. We read the first chapter. But basically it's about a boy who just visits his grandfather's funeral, and then a girl basically takes him away to this imaginary fantasy world. There is nothing inappropriate because Christian girls wrote the book, and everything in it is very clean, appropriate. It's good for middle school age, is what I've been told, and high school as well, since the girls were in high school. I need to read this book. Not just because it sounds really good, but because I kind of have to. I'm friends with their family. But I do want to read it. This is another book that we will be reading probably before bedtime, but Forgotten Fairytales of Kindness and Courage. It is an Usborne book, and there are several stories in here. The pictures are, first of all, beautiful. I think my son actually has started reading them. And they're long. They're not short little stories. And they're princess stories, The Princess and the Goblins, The Water Babies, Amelia and the Elves, The Ruby Ring, The Cuckoo Clock, The Girl in the Book. And I thought this was kind of cool. There's a boy in the wheelchair, so I thought that was cool. Whenever there's anything that shows special needs, disability, kind of awareness type stuff, I really like to expose that to my kids. For several reasons. Another book that I'm planning on reading to my kids is called Willa and the Wisp. It's a really short, quick read. I probably take you less than an hour to read. So it's a nice little one that you can just sit in a corner and read when you have like an hour to spare before bedtime and you want to get into a really fun book, or it could be a book that they read aloud. So it's basically about a boy who's in charge of some stables, and his job is to keep all these really cool, unique animals safe. But he's very lonely. He has a friend, the stick in the mud, and that's as much as I know to share. Except it looks really cute, it has to do with animals, it has to do with friendship, it has to do about being really proactively seeking out friendships and protecting people that we care about. So I'm all about that. Next, we are really into the Green Embers series. We just finished the Green Embers and we are getting started in the second one. Now, I am kind of having a little bit of a debate. There's 8 books total, by the way. 8 of them, and they're pretty thick. Take a long time to read. So the next one's supposed to be The Black Star of Kingston. It's a prequel to the Green Embers from what I understand. But then the third book is called Ember Falls. And I believe that one, it comes right after the Green Embers. So I'm debating which one to go with. I couldn't get really into Green Embers, but my kids were like really sucked into it. So I might have them read the second book, the boys, on their own, and then jump to the third book and do it as read aloud. Not sure. If you have any ideas, leave me a little comment down below. Clue me in on what I should do, because I don't really know. Another book is called Mr. Tiger Gone Wild. I don't know much about this, except that the author is Peter Brown, who also wrote The Wild Robot and The Wild Robot Returns, which is super duper popular this year. So I figured if he wrote that book and it's really good, this one might be good too, and it's a short read, so why not? We're gonna try out reading that one. It's supposed to be really funny. I like funny books. Now, last year I fell in love with a book called Where the Mountain Meets the Moon. Well, we all fell in love with the book. It's by Grace Lin, and it is so beautiful. It has a lot of traditional Asian folk stories kind of intertwined within it. It gives you that feel. It is really good. Well, there's a sequel, or a companion book, so to speak. When the Sea Turns to Silver. I'm gonna read that book. We're gonna read that book out loud. It's a very fast-paced book, and it's going to be Pin May going on an adventure with her friend, and of course I'm sure they're going to have dragons involved. It really, reading that book kind of takes you away from things. It's like a little mini vacation. And speaking of vacations, we have been going through the Lord of the Rings anthology with the boys, the older boys. We've read the first one, and now we are on the Twin Towers. But I've heard through the grapevine that that one is quite boring. There's a lot of marsh walking through the marshes. But see, I have this thing with the Lord of the Rings that I've discovered. It's like taking a vacation through Middle Earth. I'm not joking. It's very slow pace, but you fall in love with the details and, you know, just hearing about the trees. I don't know how to explain it. It's, if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you understand. It puts you like right there in real time. And I am looking forward to listening to it. But I'm also preparing myself for long walks through the marshes. But before I read that book, I'm gonna finish this, okay? I know you guys know this. We are on the last of the Wing Feather Saga. It has taken us over a year to get through these, and well worth it. The one thing I do have to say is, they say it's kind of like the Lord of the Rings, except this is very fast paced. It's so good. It teaches family values. It teaches you about standing for what you believe in, regardless of the situation, and just bonding. It's good. So now I'm gonna move into some picture books to share with you that we are gonna read probably many times over. These are my favorites that I read with my older kids. We're gonna read them again, okay? Starting with my absolute read aloud favorite. Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. We all know the song, but the colors in this book are phenomenal. Eye-catching. It makes you want to look at it over and over again. Not to mention that you're looking at all the letters. You can trace over the letters together. You can say your ABCs together. But see, this year I got myself a coconut tree. But see, this is fun because we can read the book and then we can Velcro the letters as we say them together. Plus, this actual palm tree came with some really fun games, like pick out the letter K or put all the blue ones on. And what's really fun is sometimes you can spell out some words like cat and mad, and it looks like my son actually he wrote Mr. Beast on the tree. Another fun read aloud that I always love sharing with my kids is this one, A Sick Day for Amos McGee. This one just has a really special place in my heart because, I mean, we're dealing with this pandemic and people being sick, but it really teaches kids that we take care of the elderly. Now, Mr. Amos McGee, he's an elderly man that takes care of animals. And when he gets sick, the animals are very concerned and find ways to help him out. So I love this. The pictures are very gentle. I mean, they're really kind of old-fashioned, but they're very, very gentle and just sweet. And I think this is one thing I really have a heart for, is that we take care and teach our kids to take care of the elderly. Not because we're going to be old one day, but because the elderly have so much wisdom and knowledge that we can glean from it. It's a shame that we don't tap into that more often and teach our kids to do the same. So, and love on them too, because they need all the love that they could get. They worked really hard. Speaking of things, feeling sick, feeling better, this series, The Bear Feels, now I have The Bear Feels Scared. There's also The Bear Feels Sick too. But it really teaches a kid emotions. You know, if they're sick, what do you do when somebody's sick? How do you feel when you're sick? Same when somebody's scared. What do you do when somebody's scared? How do you feel when you're scared? And it also teaches you how to reach out and take care of your friends. I'm all about finding ways to teach your kids through books, through actions, how to take care of other people. So Bear gets scared and his friends reach out, and it's beautiful. I do believe there's other books, the Bear Feels series, and I'll stick that when I get a chance in the description box below. I'll stick a couple in there if there is more than just the scared and the sick. These are the ones that I'm kind of excited about. I have not read these, but I was introduced, Katie over at Life in the Mundane introduced me to the Abilities in Me series. So what this lady does is she writes books about children that have different disabilities, different medical disabilities, learning disabilities. She does everything from autism to heart problems to Down syndrome. You name it, it's out there. So this one is about Down syndrome, and it was based off of a little girl that actually has Down syndrome. And here are some cute little pictures. And she plays with the other kids. And of course, another one that I picked up, it's Sabel and Her Superheroes, and it is about a girl who has Down syndrome. So it's just really sweet. I do like to find books like this that bring about awareness. I like to find books that talk about Down syndrome because it helps my daughter relate. We have a doll that she has, her favorite doll, that has Down syndrome. Every little girl needs to have a doll, needs to have a book that just kind of, she can relate to that character. And so I love these books. And I'm on the hunt to find more books as she gets older, whether they're going to be picture books or chapter books for her. I'm gonna find them. If not, maybe I'll write one. That's really hard to do. So I hope this video helped you find some new and exciting books that you can get your hands on. They're all listed down in the description box below with links. You can buy them, check them out at the library, whatever is easier for you. And don't forget to consider subscribing to our channel and share in this lovely journey together as we raise our kids, homeschool our kids, work with our kids, parent our kids that have special needs or don't have special needs. But hey, let's do this together. I'm gonna stick some videos around my face right now and check one out if it sounds interesting, and I will see you guys in our next video. Bye.